Hello, dear Wellbeing enthusiasts. My name is Horia. I'm your host for the Wellbeing podcast. And today we have invited Alin, Dinu, speaker at our seminar last week. He has delivered an amazing presentation about fostering relationships. How can you have a better relationship with others? And first and foremost, it's important to have a really strong relationship with yourself. Hello again, dear fellow well-being enthusiasts. My name is Horia, and I'm the host of the Wellbeing podcast. And today we have as a guest Alin Dinu. He has been a guest speaker at least a couple of times. You had the possibility to see him on the Zoom last week on his amazing seminar on fostering relationships. I'm sure you all enjoyed it. I personally enjoyed it a lot, and we've decided to ask him to have this brief interview as a follow-up discussion on the seminar. Welcome, Alin, again on our podcast.
Welcome, Horia. Welcome, well-being enthusiasts. Nice to be here. Thank you for your invitation.
What do you feel about how the last seminar went with us on the Zoom call? Uh, you've participated before a few months ago on a different kind of seminar with a room full of people, but this time was different. What did you enjoy the most on this particular seminar that you hosted on the fostering relationships?
Yes, I've been before at the beginning of this year, and I miss the live interaction. Uh, yeah, what I enjoyed most was when people interacted with one another, and they had some insights, and they reflected on their lives or on their interactions, and something came out of that. When they had a few, I don't know if I may call them aha moments, but definitely insights on how to live better or how to be more, that was definitely my favorite part.
Yeah, indeed, it was very insightful to be included in a breakout room with people who you haven't met before and to share kind of personal stories. It was pretty insightful and pretty deep. I mean, some people even feel like they don't want to show their faces, unfortunately. But despite this the situation, I think everything went well. What about the people who would have liked to join the seminar but weren't able to attend? What do you think would be the most important key takeaways from such event?
Mm-hmm. So for the people who haven't attended, well, something came out of the interaction, and this something is that connection is very satisfying. I mean, I remember I heard people share that uh, they were surprised on how good they feel after they interacted with somebody they didn't know and had somewhat of significant conversation. So this is one of the takeaways. Connection, even though sometimes uncomfortable, brings a lot of satisfaction or a deep sense of, I would dare to say, well-being. And one of the main points that I was aiming with this short workshop is to help people or to inspire people to get to know themselves more. So this is the second point, which I think is pretty important. Self-knowledge is an important part of well-being.
Self-knowledge.
Yeah. Like when you know more of yourself than before, like when, yeah, like you know a little bit more who you are than before, just a little bit.
What are your suggestions at this point? What could you do to know you better through direct questions, questioning yourself, or having discussions with strangers, for instance?
Mhm. Definitely, discussions with strangers work if you have the right intention for that discussion. Otherwise, sometimes it might seem just small talk. And I think that asking the right questions or the difficult questions regularly, it's definitely helpful. For example, who I am, why do I wake up of bed, why do I get out of bed in the morning, what are my values, and so on.
Hmm. Yeah, very interesting. Because you've just mentioned about the small talk with strangers. Usually, people only say like shallow discussions about the weather, about few stuff, asking directions in the street, but they never ever touch deep thoughts. What kind of people should you approach in terms of I don't know, discovering yourself better? Specialists, psychologists, therapists.
uh, I don't think you need to be a coach or a psychologist to really be interested in knowing yourself. I think that many people are on this path of getting to know themselves, but maybe not all of us do it consciously. I would say that not with all strangers you can have this type of conversations with, because some people don't really enjoy opening up, or being vulnerable. It's not their strong point, or they haven't seen the benefits of being vulnerable and opening up yet. So maybe participating in workshops like the one that well-being enthusiasts had, or maybe going to other events where people tend to network, or to want to grow in a way. We were speaking earlier about Toastmasters. I am very grateful that I participated uh, in this personal development journey, and Toastmasters really made a positive and a big impact for my life. Like, really beautiful people and a nice structure and pretty good overall process.
Hmm, excellent. You consider yourself to be passionate about how the mind works. When was your aha moment in your life when you discovered this? And what did you specifically do to shift your mindset into a new version of yourself?
The first part of the question is very simple, easy to answer, because I remember when I was young, 3, 4, 5, I don't really know, but that period. And my mom shared this information in the house. She said must have heard from someplace or somewhere, that the speed of thought is greater than the speed of light. And I didn't know this about the speed of light anything, and I barely knew what light was back then. But receiving this information really made me curious. And I started thinking about thoughts and about thinking and about where they come from and what is this thinking process. And really just stayed with me ever since. And if you just leave me in a room for a little while, most of or a big period of my time, I would just try to see the connections between the mind and the emotions and the outward circumstances. So this is where it came from, at least as I can remember. And the second part of the question, when I had a breakthrough, or I would say a change of perspective, it's a bit of a longer story, so bear with me, okay? I'm 32 years old now, and when I was 25, I was at the end of a long period with depression, and I was not in a good place in my life. So I decided to go with my girlfriend in this trip around the country to detach. And my intention was to ask God, I need help. Just please help me to change something. When I came home, a week had passed, and apparently nothing had changed. But uh, while I was playing a computer game in that day, I remember it was a Tuesday. I was playing a computer game, and I was in this bad place, and I was trying to change, but my body wouldn't listen to my mind, and I was like, move, do something else, but I really didn't have any resources. So the only thing that came to my mind back then was to start praying. So I tend to see myself as a spiritual person, And I believe that there's this higher force, a force greater than us. You may call it God or the universe or the source or whatever you may call it. And I started praying. And dear Horia, maybe a few seconds have passed and I blinked and something changed in the way I was breathing and in the way that I was feeling overall. So my state changed. And after that change, uh, I, I can't, I don't have really specific words, but the change of perspective that came with that state change, I would say, is that I started thinking about the consequences of my actions. So it was the first time in my life when I was really thinking not only about what I was doing, but also where it was leading me to. So by then I had already played over 10,000 hours of, I'm a fan of Dota. And I was, can I say I was smoking a lot of pot? You can, you can cut it if you, and but that was the last day that I was addicted to anything. So 1 year after that, I moved to Bucharest because I started searching. I started reading about love and about values and about personal development. Uh, um, so I moved to Bucharest after 1 year. After 1 year, I was sitting and chatting with my cousin, and I had this big aha moment, like a revelation. And in that moment, I decided, okay, I want to become a motivational speaker. So they say that there are two moments in your life: one when you are born, and one when you know why you were born. So, so back then, I thought that I want to be a motivational speaker and inspire people to achieve their potential through speech, like through public speaking. This is like the big story compressed in shorter, I mean, in a making a big story maybe a little shorter. So, yeah, I found out from my mother the thinking process about thoughts, and I had this aha moment, like I would say just miracle, and my perspective shifted. And after 1.5 years or maybe 2 years, my life had already changed and I was doing something completely different.
That was really powerful. That was really powerful and interesting, very insightful. I was just wondering and curious also, how many people ever experience through their lives something like that, some kind of revelation like this? Do they have to be really, really depressed or in a really deep negative state to be like that, or like that, or they could be happy, joyful, everything should be fine, and simply they realize, okay, I'm not leading the life that I want to, and I would like to do something else. I want to find my own passion, my true belief on whatever.
I hope you don't need to to be depressed to to experience something like this. I really hope so. Uh, I uh, I have been working with many people since then, and I guess that a sense of unease or a sense of frustration or being not satisfied with your life usually moves you toward uncovering who you really are and taking different actions for your life.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Very nice. Well said. What would be your suggestions? Is there any, I don't know, any shortcut or any tricks for our well-being enthusiasts on how to overcome their limitations or?
So I believe everybody has a purpose. It's like when you are born, you have you come with we all have the same sheet of paper. Like for example, and this is our time here. And we get a different set of crayons. Like everybody gets a different set of crayons. I may get the 10 pack, you may get the 16 pack, other people may get the 20 pack. So the crayons represent our talents, abilities, and skills. And for example, there are people who are talented at soccer, like I would say Cristiano Ronaldo. There are people who are very talented at playing the violin, or there are many
Hmm.
colors in this life.
Like
So
natural born talents.
I would say, yeah, but I think that if you really are curious about yourself, everybody has something that they're good at. Even if this something is changing, it's changing very frequently. Like
Hmm.
I met people who really are bored of what they're doing after 6 months or after 3 months or after 1 year. So
Hmm.
maybe this is their superpower.
Hmm.
So to specifically answer your question, I would say that first of all, you'd really need to want to discover what your true colors are,
Hmm.
and then be available to really do some work. And this inner and deep work, inner work, I found is not very easy sometimes. Sometimes it's quite
It
difficult.
requires, do you agree that it requires a lot of hard work and commitment? Passion
Sometimes
is
it.
not enough.
No. Yeah, I would say definitely. Sometimes it's not enough. So hard work, it's definitely an ingredient.
Are you familiar with the Strengthsfinder? There's a test that we have been suggested here in our corporate world to give a test entitled Strengthsfinder or DISC, DISC, in which we are asked to know to answer some questions to find our own strengths. What are our strengths? If you are more analytical, if you are strategic, if you are hard worker, if you are passionate about X and X, Y, Z. And we are required to do it, I don't know, probably once every 2 years. And after you finish that test, they would say that okay, based on this test, your strengths, I mean your natural ability, will be to do this and that. You could take that for granted and you say, okay, I'm good at, I have a good focus, or I'm really good at strategy. If you follow their recommendations that your strengths should be these ones, and you do something, do a job, a passion, or something that somehow overlaps overlaps your strengths, they think probably it's, I don't know if it's scientifically proven, then one day you will achieve success faster and being also happy because you're not doing something that it's against the grain. I mean, if you're not good in maths, you won't go to become an engineer, obviously. Even if we know so many cases now, the children have been pushed by their parents to become doctors or engineers, but their
Or
strengths
economics.
probably somewhere else.
Yeah. I know.
What if an individual who is 30 something, is in his mid 30s, is depressed because he hasn't been doing in the last 10 years, he or she hasn't been doing in the last 10 years anything passionate about her life? What do you think? Should they do this test and identify their strengths and take bold actions to shift their mindset and do something completely different?
I think if you're willing to change, anything helps. I know about this test, and it gives, from my perspective, a good sense of strengths. So it's something useful to be taken in consideration. I also think that, I mean, neuroscience says that the brain is plastic, and the more you train in a direction, then the better you get. So in this sense, we could train ourselves on a certain to reach a certain level on anything. And about what you said about this 30 something person that would want to change something, I discovered that most of, or rather the happiest people that I know, who are happy most of the time at least, have this sense of child. They really remember how it was to be a child, and they play,
Hmm.
they really enjoy life similarly to when they were children. So I read this quote. I don't know who said it, but it goes like this: "It's never too late to have a happy childhood." So I would say even if you're 35 or like 55, like my father hadn't had a good life in the beginning, but now he's doing pretty good. It's because he really decided that things really need to change. So he did some different actions in whatever direction he thought was good for him.
That's really powerful. Yeah, I love that quote, definitely. That's why being a parent and seeing your child, you will never know that. You won't imagine. Usually, it's us as parents to teach our children how to behave, what should they learn, so that we will know everything. But sometimes it's just enough to look at them, how they play, how they communicate, and you learn so many from them because they're so pure, they're so intense when they play or they doing something. If he wants to explain me something that he understands from, I don't know, from a video game or from downloading an app, the way he explains it to me is so simple and so without having probably the proper language or the proper words. I feel that passion that sparkles in their eyes. But at a certain time in lives, many people, I don't know, lose it, lose that passion,
I think it's because of fear, really.
fear,
Yeah, fear of
fear.
suffering, of losing something or losing appreciation, uh, losing respect, losing whatever money or material things. I don't know, but from my experience, fear is a big impediment in achieving, I would dare to say, happiness or at least well-being.
Hello.
And
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
I wanted to share my appreciation about what you just said, with witnessing your child, of how he plays and how present he is. From that perspective, I'm really looking forward to becoming a parent myself.
Good luck. Good luck.
Thank you.
It's not easy, but it's very pleasant. It's worth the journey.
Yeah, I imagine.
Speaking of fear, I remember a funny quote also from somebody from, I don't know, public speaker or something. It says that fear are the initials from false expectations appearing real.
Yeah.
So, Alin, it has been a very pleasant discussion. Just one more question out of curiosity. I'm sure that our our viewers are interested to know more. In your presentations that was shared with organization, it has been presented that you are a practitioner of Zazen, which is a kind of meditation practice. You've been practicing for a while, for a few years now. Can you give us a few details about it? What's the purpose, or how it's supposed to be done? Or what's interesting about it?
Yes. The purpose is that this is the main point. It has no purpose. And when Buddhist monks meditate, they don't call it they don't call it meditation. The object of this meditation is called zazen, the practice. And throughout my experience after that moment when I took responsibility for my life, I tried many things, like many meditations, visualization, trainings, workshops, whatever. The zazen practice is very simple. It's a meditation which has three bases. The first is your attention should always or most of the time be in the body, like on your posture. The second point is to really concentrate on your breathing. So you should breathe from your lower abdominal part. And the third, when thoughts come, that's natural and let them go away.
Mm-hmm.
And the main benefit for me, I will share two benefits. The main two benefits are, the first one is I really have more emotional resources, and whatever my intention is, even in conversations or like big goals that I work on, my aim of reaching those goals gets better. It's like my hand doesn't shake as much as if I wouldn't go to Zazen.
That's brilliant. So you attain more clarity and focus.
Definitely. Yes, yes. Clarity is yeah. If I were to summarize in one word, clarity is the word.
Clarity. But you need to focus on your breathing, or you focus on a specific thought that you would like to accomplish, for instance,
No,
during the
it's
meditation.
yes, it's not related at all to thinking. Thinking is like a river and thoughts come and go, and it's natural because the mind is this instrument that we have.
Mm-hmm.
So during Zazen, we focus on the body, on the posture, and on the breathing. And sometimes I see my attention focusing on my legs or on the shoulders or on the face or whatever. And sometimes I focus my attention, I just sit focusing on the breathing. And sometimes I see myself entangled in thinking, like what happened yesterday, what I'm going to do tomorrow.
Hmm.
And the main point is whenever I catch myself thinking, just come back to the body and to the posture.
You revert back to the initial state in which you're completely relaxed, free of thoughts, just focused on your breathing.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah,
And you managed to attain clarity, and also mention about the emotions. You spare your emotions. I mean, you use it. You learn how to use them properly whenever you will have to, right? Because we as human beings, we are all the time. We need to use our emotions whenever we experience any kind of feelings or thoughts and everything.
yes. Because we not don't only exchange words and thoughts, we also exchange emotions. And I just realized it's like cleaning my emotional house. When I go there and I it's an hour in Bucharest, it's an hour and a half, and it's pretty difficult. For me, I don't have much mobility, and
Hmm.
the Zen Buddhists, they're very strict on their position and under everything. And my back hurts and my knees hurt and like many things hurt. But when I wake up from the pillow and it's called Zafu and I go about my life, it's like the space between my thoughts, it's bigger and I remember more what is important for me.
That's really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I'm sure that many of our viewers will be interested to do a little more research, and I will personally do more research because I'm also enrolled in some kind of meditation techniques right now. And as you've described this technique, I'm gonna research a little bit more and try to practice it because yeah, I'm also looking to clear my thoughts and to spare my feelings and to put emotions on what needs to be done, on what I'm really focused on, instead of wasting my bullets. Let's if we would compare them with thoughts and feelings, just focus on the right thing, not on the yesterday's feelings, right?
Yeah, nice with the bullets, nice metaphor.
Hmm. Now that we have reached this moment, Alin, I would like to thank you again very much for your time spent with us.
Can I add something?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So during the last 3 months, I have been working on this program that I've developed. Right now, I call it Soul Update. It's not the final name. And the aim of the program is to um, help people discover themselves. It's not something that I tell them, or there's very little theory involved, but there's deep work involved. And it takes about 3 weeks. And should anybody be interested in finding out more, I'm offering now, I'm building some groups and it's just free because I need some feedback from the program. And, if people are interested, just send me an email. The email address, can I say it?
Yes, you could say it right now, or you will write it back to me, and I will post it into our channel for the viewers
Okay,
to be able to access it. Yes, if you have a
perfect. So,
website or anything, we'll just add it there.
okay,
Good,
thank you.
good stuff.
Yeah. So if anybody's interested, just send me an email and Horia and the email address or get it on the website. So that's about it. And thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to chat again and to see you again on our seminars and workshops at Wellbeing.
Me too. Me too.
Bye bye. Bye, Alin. See you around. Bye.